Scott, I'm going to compare your swing to Grant Waite, who was a tour player during the 90s and considered having one of the best swings in golf. He's now one of the top instructors for tour players. I'm going to begin at the impact position. Everything the ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it spins, how much it curves, everything is determined by the laws of physics and motion that exist at the moment of impact. And it's the club's position at impact that determines those laws of physics. And it's the body's position at impact that determines the club's position at impact. And everything you do prior to impact has the sole purpose of arriving at a fundamentally sound impact position. The primary goal of having a good impact is that you want to hit the golf ball before you hit the ground. In order to transfer the optimal amount of your club speed to the golf ball so you have maximum ball speed, is to hit the ball before you hit the ground. What that requires is that the low point of your swing must be in front of the golf ball. Now, the pros achieve this in a couple of different ways. One of the things that they do is that they will try to have their weight, the majority of their weight, on the left side at impact. Your low point of your swing arc will tend to follow the location of the center of your body mass. You can see how in the red line coming up from Grant's left foot is passing right through his belt buckle. So he clearly has the majority of his weight on top of his left foot. In fact, the average pro will have 85% of their weight on their left side at impact. Now, I have frozen your swing at impact as well, and you're still pretty evenly balanced between both feet. You do not have the majority or a large majority of your weight on the left side at impact. And so your low point is too far back between your feet, and it's not in front of the golf ball. The second thing the pros do in order to have the low point in front of the ball is that they make sure that their hands are in front of the ball when they're hitting the ball. What this does is create a shaft lean towards the target. The red line is the shaft of the club, and the yellow arrow is straight down to indicate where your hands were at impact. And you can see where Grant's hands are right on top of his left foot, and the shaft is leaning toward the target where his hands are in front of the golf ball. So Grant is able to hit down on the ball and hit the ball first and then the ground. Because your hands are more on top of the golf ball and you have a vertical shaft and not really have that shaft lean, and your hands are behind your front foot, you're going to come into the ball a lot more shallow, and this is going to cause fat shots and thin shots. So you're not going to have that consistent, solid compression of the golf ball to maximize the ball speed from the club speed that you've generated. So in order for you to hit the ball more consistently solid and have that ball come off with more ball speed and give you more distance, you need to have better compression in your strike of the ball. And so I need you to hit more down on the ball, but you won't be able to do that unless you get more weight on your front foot and your hands in front of that golf ball. Now let's look at some of the other things that you do prior to impact that may be harming or hindering your ability to arrive in a good impact position. First, let's look at your one position, your setup. You set up with your hands in front of the golf ball, just like Grant has, so that's very good. You have that shaft lean. You're prepared to hit down into it at impact. And so your setup is correct in terms of your club's position. One of the differences in your swing, in your setup, you have that left arm with a little bit of an elbow bend at the setup. Grant has an extended left arm. His elbow is sitting more on top of his left pectoral muscle, and his elbows are closer together. And you have your arm more to the side of your body, and that's going to become problematic during your backswing and impact position. And so one of the changes I would like for you to begin to work on is setting your arms more on top or in front of your body and not so much on the sides. Here we are in the three position. This is when the left arm is parallel to the ground. You are starting to see a little bit of a bend here in your left arm. It's not too bad right there. Grant has a much more extended arm. And so if you were setting up with a little bit more extension at the beginning, it would be easier for you to arrive in this position with a better extended arm. In looking at your legs, I like the fact that your right knee is extending while your left knee is flexing. So that's very good. That allows you to turn the hip and get some coil in your backswing. So that's a very good move there that you want to keep doing. Now, in terms of if you're rocking too much to the right or not, if I draw a straight line up from the left ankle, you can see how Grant has kept his weight on his left side during his backswing. So as he rotates to the right, he still stays solid on that left side. One of the things that I mentioned in the school is that this golf pattern is known as a stable axis swing pattern. And the axis is off that left side, and it needs to be stabilized so that when you rotate around your axis, that you're rotating around your left side. So you have to keep your weight on your left side throughout the swing. And you have moved a little bit to the right. You can see how Grant's head is closer to more on top of his left foot, and your head is a little bit more on top of your right foot. So one of the things that you could work on or need to work on a little bit is learning how to go from position 1, the starting position, to position 3, but not sway too much to the right. One of the things that will help you get this feeling of staying on that left side is to let your shoulder, your left shoulder, not go across to the other side, but it needs to go, almost feel like you're tilting this shoulder downward towards your left foot. And so once you learn this little feeling right here, this little move, that'll make the swing pattern a lot more stable. Here we are in the 9th position. This is when the right arm is parallel to the ground. You can see how Grant has a nice extension in that right arm. You have a little bit of a bend here in your elbow on the follow through. One of the other keys is that Grant has moved his right hip up to on top of this foot, and your hip right pocket here is still behind that left foot. The other thing that we can see when we look at Grant is that his arms are both extended, his elbows are close to each other, his wrists are crossed, and your elbows are kind of separating here from each other. When you look at Grant, his left hand is underneath his right hand, and your left hand is above the right hand. In conclusion, I would want you to focus on just a few things. You don't want to try to work on too many things at once. And where I would put the priority is in your setup. I would try to get that left arm more in front and get your elbows closer together at the setup. And that will allow you to develop the control in that extended left arm throughout the swing a lot better. Second thing I would work on is learning how to stay on your left side in your backswing, and how to get to your left side even further on your downswing. And there are some drills to help you get that feeling and learn that new shape in your swing, and that will get you in a much more fundamentally sound position, and you'll see a dramatic difference in your ball striking.